Okay, phases of the moon. Okay, from where you're sitting, you can only see, is there a, the handbook's useful for everything. Okay, you can only see part of the moon from where you're sitting because of the illumination of the sun. Okay, and from where I'm standing, I can see about half the moon. But as I rotate, it gets smaller and smaller until I can see nothing at all. Okay, it's just a silhouette, and then I can see more and more and more. Okay, and what I'd like you to do actually is come on down one by one, or if you like, and just hold the moon and look at the moon and rotate and see how that phase changes in the sunlight.
We actually see it when you do it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Thomas.
Come on down.
I mean, I suppose I could rotate the whole thing, but... And just hold it at arm's length and just kind of rotate around. And it's kind of interesting because if you can find the moon and you hold the tennis ball up to the moon, you will actually see the tennis ball doing the same phase as the moon.
Super fast.
We can have this available at break too. Okay? Okay. So the different phases occur when the moon is in different positions relative to the sun. Okay? So when the moon is in front of the sun, all we see is the silhouette. We call that a new moon. When the moon is off to one side, a 90-degree angle, we can see the moon as being half lit. We call that first quarter. And this is one of the things that always kind of drove me nuts, is the inconsistency. This is a full moon, okay, because it's a full circle. And when it's a half circle, we call it a quarter moon. The reason it's called a quarter moon is because it's the first quarter of the cycle and the third quarter of the cycle. So it's not called a quarter moon because it's 1/4 of the moon. It's called a quarter moon because of the cycle. Okay? Anytime the moon is over here so that it's partial, okay, we see it either as a crescent, because we can only see a little piece of it here, or as a first quarter or third quarter, or even sometimes over here when it's just between first quarter and full. If we're standing right here at in Hawaii, I think, right there, wouldn't that be nice? We can still see both the moon and the sun. Okay? So if the moon is here, we can see the moon and the sun. If the moon is here, we can see the moon and the sun. If it's here, we can see the moon and the sun. If the moon's over here, in order to see the moon, we're really on the opposite side of the planet from the sun. So that's why with different phases, we can sometimes see the moon during the daytime and sometimes see the moon during the nighttime. So I have a little simulation here. Unfortunately, my video went a little bit squirrely and it kept crashing. So what I've got is the moon. The difference is roughly, more or less, 50 minutes later each day. Okay, the moon rises 50 minutes later each day. So what I've done is I've set Starry Night here to step through 1 full day plus 50 minutes, so we can watch, simply by clicking, we can watch what happens to the moon from day to day. Okay, so we'll see the moon becoming, okay, it's becoming partial here. There's a bit of shadow here. It's not quite, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. And if we step forward, it's becoming a third quarter moon. It's up in the daylight. Okay, it's in the daytime sky. Okay? And then it's becoming a crescent moon. Okay, so here's a little crescent moon. The rest of it's in shadow because it's getting close to the sun. And here it's going to be a new moon. It's passing in front of the sun, not directly in front of the sun, but near the sun. And then as we go, we can start to see, I don't know if you can see that little crescent there. As the moon starts to get farther away from the sun, the crescent will grow. We call that a waxing crescent. When the moon is getting bigger, we call it waxing, and when it seems to be getting smaller, we call it waning. Okay, so it's a waxing crescent to first quarter through the sort of the funny shape, which we call a gibbous moon. So it's waxing gibbous here, heading towards full. Okay, and here we have a full moon, and then we're going to be waning. So it's a waning gibbous moon towards third quarter. Oops. And then waning crescent leading to new moon. Okay. So that answers, I think, one of the questions about why it's in different places at different times of day. It does always rise in the east, but it doesn't rise at the same time every day. So sometimes it's rising in daylight, sometimes it's rising at nighttime.